And welcome to the Article 1776 podcast. I am Matthew Kicklighter, one of your co-hosts. This is my business partner.
Scottsdale87.
Well, a couple of this is just mainly shoot the shit podcast and checking up on everyone. How's everything going for you, Scottsdale? I knew that you were sick. I knew that you were sick a little while ago.
Yeah, it was God, I don't know what happened. I went to this Harry Potter thing out in New York. We did that with the family, and we stopped at a little diner. And we got home. It's probably like 11ish. We got home. Kid went to bed. Me and Evie went to bed. And after she fell asleep, man, I just got like real sick, like broken at both ends. It was ridiculous. It
was the Wingardia Fuckiosa.
Yeah, it was. I don't know, man. Like I had some chicken tenders, and I don't think that really sat very well with me.
Yeah, we're not mentioning the name of the group or anything that made the chicken tenders. So
no, I don't even remember the name of the restaurant, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that shit. That I was like, I remember because we were about to try to film a podcast, and then all of a sudden, I saw you almost going, and then almost all over,
almost Ralph all over my PC. His name is Ralph. I actually watched that the other day. Old Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke. Could not make that movie today.
Oh yeah,
somebody would get all blue hair Karen on you.
There would be so. What is one movie besides that one that you just mentioned that you know right off the bat that you
Tropic
cannot...
Thunder.
Yes.
You don't even have to answer finish the question. I know right offhand. Tropic Thunder.
I'm disguised as a dude playing as another dude playing as another dude.
I'm disguised as a dude playing another dude playing another dude. Yeah, no, like I know who I am. Full long R. You never go for each other. No, that was that. Like it's such an underrated movie. Danny McBride and that shit in the very beginning. He goes, no. I said C4. That's a blasting cap, you idiot. I'm over here trying to light jungle fire or trying to light tiger fire to this jungle's nuts. And you're over here trying to build a bomb. Mother Nature just pissed her pantsuit. Nah, Danny McBride is one of my favorite actors. Like on my Twitch, if you look at my donation section, it's him going pay monies, y'all. Nah, Danny McBride is a comedy god. He's just got that nonchalant slapstick. Like, yeah, I'll give a fuck. I stuck bees in my asshole once.
Yeah, I think probably one of the ones that I half baked with Dave Chappelle.
No, honestly, I feel like Half Baked could be done again. It should never be done again.
Yeah.
But I think with as many states as opening up to recreational marijuana, I think Half Baked could be done again. Maybe not the whole spiel, but I think it could get made again. It shouldn't. It's just one of those movies that shouldn't be fucked with, like Goonies. Goonies 2 is in development already. Don't need it.
And here, from what I've heard, several of the young actors who are adults now are reprising the role. And you know the kid that was fat?
Yeah. Jeff Cohen, I think his name is. Jeffrey Cohen.
He's a skinny dude. So unless they're going to get another big kid to kind of play like the role of his son or something like that. And then do the whole shit like the fucking dance.
I don't think they're gonna do the truffle shuffle again. If you do the truffle shuffle, it's just copying at that point. Like you're just doing it too much. If I'm correct from what I've heard on it, is they're taking up the roles of the parents. Pretty much like they're the parents going through the same shit their parents are going through, but now it's their kids. That's about all I've heard on it. And again, I don't know if that's the actual plot because I haven't read anything from the studio or whatever who's going to make it saying like, yeah, this is what we're doing. It's just like fan speculation mostly.
Yeah,
which I think would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I would kind of want to speculate how Sloth kind of looks. Like, would he look like a big ass, old ass Herbert the pervert?
I think he'd be dead by now. You got to think, if you take logically, let's say that these characters are in the metaphysical universe.
Mm-hmm.
With as many health issues as Sloth had, I don't think that he would live the same time frame as the rest of the kids, given how old he already was.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy had the character already had to have been like close to 40 or something.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if they kind of, if he kind of was kept alive, like still alive.
Yeah.
And just to reprise the role.
Did you know that the guy who played Sloth actually used to be a professional wrestler? If I'm correct, I think that's what it was.
Holy shit! No, I didn't know that. My voice just cracked right there. That was weird.
Right? Would you just hit puberty?
Holy shit! Yeah. No.
That's finally dropped.
Yeah. So and
give me a second. My other monitor was off. That's got all my web stuff on it. So. He was a football player. He was a football player.
Okay. Who?
John Matauszak.
Mm-hmm.
He was a defensive end for the Oakland Raiders. He won 2 Super Bowls, one in '81 and one in '73, I think it was.
With what teams?
Team. Well, he played with the Washington Commanders, which was, we all know, the Washington Redskins, but they changed it on here because, snowflakes.
Yeah.
Washington Commanders, Las Vegas Raiders. That was in '74 and they were still Las Vegas Raiders. 73, or no, sorry. In '76, he played for 2 different teams, the Las Vegas Raiders and the Washington Commanders. '74 with the Chiefs and '73 with the Houston Oilers. Unfortunately, he died.
Oh, okay. So they'll have to probably have another football player reprise the role.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know
if they do.
It took him five hours of makeup every day to get into character.
That's crazy. Yeah, I was about to say that's crazy to have that amount of plaster in the eye that kind of drooped on down.
Oh shit! He died 4 years after the movie.
Now I feel terrible. Now I feel kind of, well, fuck that. No.
He was big into drugs. Apparently, his intake was legendary.
I just visioned Sloth in the corner with some meth in hand and like, hey, you guy. That's horrible to say. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was 6'7", 280.
Yeah.
A big boy. But it's funny because the Sloth character doesn't look too far off from what his actual character is. He's got like a kind of like a droopy shelf over his eyebrow.
Yeah.
And he's got a long pointy nose, so they just kind of like added prosthetics to it. Yeah. Sadly, at the heart of the movie lies a very sad story. John Matauszak, I think that's how you pronounce his name, I don't know. He played Sloth, died just 4 years after release of the movie, hiding a passive drug and alcohol abuse from the Hollywood spotlight. So he wasn't an actor for very long.
Yeah. It's sadly movies can back in the day used to do that to a person. I mean, like look at Chris Farley though.
Oh my God, yeah, that man right there. My favorite comedian of all time besides Robin Williams. Mm-hmm. Rest his soul. Fucking Robin Williams, Chris Farley, Jim Belushi was funny too.
Yeah.
Tim Allen.
Yeah.
Tim Allen. Have you ever seen Tim Allen stand up before?
No.
Fucking raunchy. He was like Bob Saget. Bob Saget was really like a no hold barred comedian.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing and this is something that I've been noticing. Comedians now are getting canceled for their views. Like, you can't have your own view if you're a public figure, and it goes against, like, the narrative, I guess you would say.
Joe Rogan is a prime fucking example of that, too.
Joe Rogan is a fucking legend.
Yeah.
He basically just gave a huge finger to cancel culture, and they freaked out about it.
Yeah. And people from like all walks of life are defending him, like, this is fucking stupid. Like,
Yeah, like I listen to Joe Rogan, and I'm not a fucking idiot.
yeah,
I'm stupid, but I'm not an idiot.
yeah. I've listened
I
to
don't-
him. I listened to him quite a bit of time, and the dude, have you seen the dude how he performs with his MMA practices?
Dude, before he had his knee surgery, he had probably the most powerful kicks in MMA, and he wasn't even an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Dude's got some. I've seen some of his training videos before. He's got a ridiculous fucking sidekick. I bet his leg kick would probably break my leg in half. Just 2 chops, and my leg is just like toothpick splinters.
It sounds like a shotgun going off too.
Yeah. But see, I really like Joe Rogan's podcast when he has like scientists and stuff on, like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
Those are some of my favorite podcasts. I like the ones he did with Elon. Like picking Elon's brain for 2 or 3 hours has got to be an eye opener. I would love to sit down and just ask Musk about what he thinks about shit. Just not necessarily technical shit, just like shit in general, like life. What do you think, bro?
Yeah, and it's crazy to see how people are trying to cancel him out for. And I said this to someone earlier today, that it's people on one side were bitching about being shunned apart, like being kind of banned on the platform on one side. Now it's happening to the other side that was doing the banning because they were afraid of hate speech. Well, no speech is hate speech.
I mean,
In my view.
any speech can be speech that you hate.
Yeah.
And I think I've said this before. It's generalistically a personal choice to choose to be offended about how I feel about something. Like, I don't agree. Okay, so let me rephrase this. I understand the gay community and culture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't personally have an interest in it. I could be looked at as a homophobe specifically for that. And that's not right, because that's not what I said. I didn't say I think that, anybody who's gay is an abolishment to society. I don't say that shit. That's retarded. But just because you don't agree with somebody, now you can be canceled, labeled a racist, labeled a bigot. Like, I don't know. The people who use that shit are kind of diluting it. And they basically really have nothing worthwhile going on in their lives right now.
I think the cancel culture is even turning on the cancel culture a bit.
I mean, I've noticed some of it, like cancel culture is canceling cancel culture. You have Democrats for the longest time and this is just like little headlines and stuff that I've seen. You'll have Democrats who believe a certain way, and then somebody says something on their own side they don't like. They're like, well, wait a minute, I don't necessarily agree with that. We need to stop listening to that person. I don't know. The whole cancel culture thing is dumb.
Yeah.
Like, I could say the wrong thing. I could fart the wrong way and I'll probably get canceled.
But no, it's crazy because, and I said it tons and tons of times. For example, Adolf Hitler, I don't agree with the dude. I don't like him, but I'm not holding back his fucking speech, because if I were to hold back his speech, someone on the other side could not like what I say and try to ban me for what I say.
If Hitler hadn't done half the bad or any of the bad shit that he did, he probably would have been looked at as one of the smartest men of his time.
Yeah, and if you take a look,
take the Holocaust out of perspective, okay?
Yeah.
That let's say that never happened. We know it did. We've seen the stories, we've heard the stories and the facts and like the accounts from, actual survivors. Take that aside.
Yeah.
I think he might have actually been considered a pretty smart dude for his time.
Well, I don't. He had a lot of smart people working with him, so he hired a lot of people that were.
But to understand those things, you got to have a little bit of idea what's going on.
Yeah. So if you take a look at some of the inventions that they had, a lot of them were almost regular, up to par with almost some of the stuff that we have now.
Yeah, like the V2 rocket was totally ahead of its time.
Yeah, like, and some of the creations that if you go take a look back in time, a lot of that stuff was awful. Yes,
Absolutely.
but take a look in what comparison to today's day and age, it's almost like identical.
So, do you know why the United States has a rocket program, NASA per se, to begin with?
To compete with Soviet, I think it was.
I mean, but do you know why they have it?
No.
Like how they obtained that? Okay, so check this out. Back at the end of World War II, there was a German scientist, Werner von Braun.
Yeah.
He was the head of physics and rocket science for Germany, pretty much. And he and a group of people helped develop the V2 rocket.
Okay.
Towards the end of the war, he got a hold of OSS being the CIA, or that before it was actually the CIA and shit. Got a hold of them and defected to America. America found out about the V2 rocket because of, Werner von Braun and people like that, and that's when they started going after V2 facilities. Fast forward to the end of that, we're like, hey, we got to have a rocket platform. So Werner von Braun, other German scientists, Werner von Braun was actually involved in the Manhattan Project too. And bam, we have a rocket program with NASA. So NASA was actually started by the Nazis. I mean, I don't think he was necessarily a Nazi sympathizer. I think he was just, a scientist that got caught up in the mix. Feared for his life, from German forces and shit, because, the SS would just execute you because.
Yeah.
So, and then next thing you know, all these scientists that come over from the V2 program are now working either at or with NASA and JPL. JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, actually started because a couple grad students were trying to create a type of rocket fuel in their dorm and burn the entire dormitory down. The government was like, hey, here's a bunch of land, here's a bunch of money. Now we have a rocket program.
Yeah. And I think that, and I read this up, I forgot where I read this up, so don't entirely quote me. Some of the guys and people over there in Germany during that time, they didn't want to serve, but they were forced to serve.
Well, they had a conscription,
kind
of deal going on. Like you had to serve in the military at that time of some capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And they would get them super young. Like I think there was like the Hitler Youth or something like that.
Yeah.
Where it was a bunch of school kids basically learning how to be fucking assholes. But I mean, every German person I've ever talked to sounds angry as fuck. It's just their language though. They're not really like that. Like I've met some really awesome down to earth German people before.
From what I've seen, my dad dated a German chick for like a bit, and I've happened to notice some of like how they talk, and it's a lot of mouth muscular like muscles that normal people don't usually tend to use unless you're in a pornography world. Yeah.
But no, like so that's why we have a fucking German. That's why we have a German rocket. No, that's how we have a rocket sauce. Series is because of the Germans, like our own enemies, the people who were designing weapons of destruction for the Fuhrer at the time.
Yeah.
Were just in it because they had to be.
And that stuff is interesting to me as to the science behind all of that.
Rockets?
Like
I dabble in like amateur rocketry stuff, and like it's fucking crazy. I even play like on my just downtime. I play a game called Kerbal Space Program.
Yeah.
And like it deals with a lot of that stuff. I cannot get anything into fucking orbit.
And
As much as I know, like I know the degree of the curve that you're supposed to take when you take off. It's like 32 degrees or some shit, like 31 point something. And like the angle of it, I know that. And like when you're supposed to start your turn to exit orbit
yeah,
or to exit atmosphere to help get orbit, can't do it.
it amazes me about how Elon Musk took something of how to, I forgot how it all originated, but how to have space rockets just land right back immediately on one point.
Yeah, that was crazy. So like a space nerd like me, like I was kind of like I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a kid. So like when the space program stopped, like the shuttle program stopped, I was like, that's it. There's no more astronauts then, like until they figure something else out, whenever that is.
Yeah.
Basically it was a dead science. Like there hadn't been any since the shuttle program, there hadn't been any launch or reentry vehicle that was thought up. Like there were prototypes and, you know, drawings and models and stuff done, but nobody really came up with anything. And then Elon Musk was like, wait a minute, what if we take this engine that's in development, we make it a little bit better, make it work more efficiently, and just reuse it?
Yeah.
Like they have had rocket engines that have like 20 plus launches on them. When the space shuttle would go off, the SRBs would detach from the main fuel tank. They're gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You don't get them back. Like you get the tubes back, but the rocket engines are destroyed. They're gone. So Musk took the science of, okay, when NASA launches a rocket, yeah, it launches straight up at first. After about 90 seconds, it starts its parabolic arc. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That parabolic arc, the degree of that helps you break atmosphere and use the Earth's curvature to gain natural momentum. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
He took that science and was like, let's make computers and gyros that are able to understand its point of reference in the air and angle it, have the computer tell the engine when to fire, to like at what degree, when to fire, how much fuel to use, how much fuel we actually need to use to get up, how much fuel we need to have to come back down, and just fucking ran with it, dude, and it fucking worked. Like, yeah, a couple times it didn't work. That's part of the game.
I have a question though. So
they have a very low rate of failure right now. Super low rate of failure compared to NASA.
I've of course, you know, I've known quite a few pilots before in the military, and they would explain like the Mach level speed that they would take in their planes. What would be that like? What would you think the Mach level would be for like like a ship, for a launch?
At max Q,
Yeah.
which is the maximum amount of velocity created by Earth's gravity in... What am I trying to say? Max Q is the highest point of velocity through takeoff that a rocket ship experiences.
Yeah.
I think it's like almost Mach 3, I think.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, like so you have millions of pounds of thrust sitting behind you.
Yeah, because if you take a look at the ergonomics and the way things are, normal planes, they don't have, well, some of them do, but they have the thrusters right behind them. The whole entire fucking spaceship has like literally the thrusters underneath them to carry all that weight and to thrust it up. You would have to burn several fuel.
It's several thousand gallons a minute. I knew that.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm not 100% sure, but the solid rocket boosters that were attached to the SRB is a solid monopropellant. And each one by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The liquid boost, the liquid pack, powers the Merlin engines. I think they're Merlin engines. No, they're not Merlin engines. I can't remember off the top of my head what model engine they are. I think they're S1s, but I'm not 100% sure right now. That big orange tank just holds the liquid to help it get up through those boosters. And I think it's like 6-8 stories tall. So there's I can't remember how big around it is, but there's a lot of fucking fuel in it.
And a lot of liberals are saying, "Oh, we should get rid of gas emission cars and go electric." And like, I take a look at the launch pad. I'm like, and y'all bitching about my car. Fuck out of here. Are you looking at like how much gas they use?
The external tank held 535,000 gallons of propellants, 390,000 of it being liquid hydrogen, 145,000 liquid oxygen, which fueled the space shuttle's main engines through 17-inch diameter feed lines.
Crazy. Wow, fuck.
How many miles per gallon does a rocket ship get? With 490 horsepower on tap and an air-ride suspension, the rocket ship lives up to its name while delivering a respectable 13 to 15. That's not right. The rocket. That's not right. That's not even the fucking thing.
A troll made that one.
Yeah.
Someone was trolling.
66,000 pound fuel tank. Okay. Wow. The SRBs hold their own fuel, a mixture of powdered aluminum and a chemical called ammonium perchlorate. When dry, the combination feels like a pencil eraser when the fuel is solid in the rocket's booster. It's like a pencil eraser. Once they are lit, they cannot be turned off. They're 15 stories tall. They produce each 7 million pounds of thrust. So you're getting 14 million pounds of thrust specifically off the SRBs.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. The boosters accelerate the 4.5 million pound shuttle stack to 3,000 miles an hour and 24 miles high in 2 minutes. By then, most of the fuel in the SRBs is up and they fall away, leaving the shuttle's own main engine to reach orbit. The boosters parachuted safely into the ocean, where they were recovered and reused on later launches. The boosters themselves, the actual tank was reused. The engines were not, because of the technology used for the O-rings after they were disassembled. The tanks were disassembled, washed and all that, baked pretty much to be dry again. The O-rings that they would use, the rubber O-rings for them, would actually deteriorate after one launch, and they were being reused for multiple launches. And a lot of that is kind of what, fucked up on, I think it was Challenger, Discovery, one of these two. Challenger.
I wonder how many practices or tests they ran in order to get that exact amount of pressure for that exact amount of fuel that they need to get into space.
I mean, it's a lot of math. I don't know.
Yeah, so they had to have perfected it to a T. So and that's what's crazy to me.
Listen to this. Okay, so the main job of the tank is to hold 535 approximate thousand approximate gallons of super cold liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. Lower portion of the tank holds liquid hydrogen, which is the fuel for the engines. The second coldest known chemical is stored in the tank at a minus 423 degrees Fahrenheit.
Fuck.
The upper part of the tank holds the liquid oxygen, chilled to minus 297 degrees. How do you get shit that fucking cold? I want my beer that cold and still be able to call it liquid.
It would be you can make it a slushy. A beer slushy.
Beer slush. Ooh, that would be good.
Yeah.
I kind of want a ranch water now.
But
ranch water.
Yeah.
Ranch water is one of those drinks that you already have to be drinking to drink.
That's what I was about to say. Do you really want the ranch water right now, though?
Where's my mallow? My schmallow. It's actually pretty good. Hotel Tango has a really good schmallow.
So-
Not a fan of a lot of their practices and whatnot. I mean, I like them. They're great people and all that. There's some things that I don't agree with, but I'm still able to,
That's
support their product.
So I haven't heard anything of it though, but that's because I haven't really followed up with them. I tried that one drink, which was pretty good, but I okay.
I'm not a rye guy.
Nah, it's all right. But I hate when companies try to go political.
Well, I
Just-
mean, look
just-
at us.
Well, we're not. Here's the thing: we don't care which side that you're on. No, we're for
Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is we really don't give a shit. Okay. So I said this earlier on to a couple of people. I am so fucking sick and tired of the news and everything else like that. Fucking dividing us. I am so fucking sick and tired of it.
I
don't
can't
care
turn
what-
my fucking TV on without hearing about something.
I've heard it said before. If I wanted to hear something political, I'll turn on the news. You can't even turn on the fucking news anymore because it's so biased. It's for one side. CNN pro Democrat, Fox News pro Republican.
Republican. Yeah, like I'd like to hear facts from both sides.
Yeah.
You give me a news organization that can tell you, hey, this is what this Democrat said, and this is what this Republican said in response to that. That's it. I'm not
Yeah.
going to sit here and give you my opinion on it. I'm not going to sit here and call them idiots, call them stupid, tell you that Democrats are the evilest, most vile things in the planet. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Republicans are the most racist fuckers in the world. What I'm going to do is, what I would love to hear is Mitch McConnell said this, and Senator Lindsey Graham said this in response.
Yeah.
That's the news.
Tulsi Gabbard left the Democratic Party to join the Republican Party. Like I've heard that shit all the fucking time.
Like, I just want the facts. Like, just
Yeah.
make facts. That's it. Just put the facts and just read it off a paper. Blah, blah, blah. The Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, and people don't like it.
I've heard several times. I'm not sure if you.
It'll never happen, though.
Have you seen AOC kind of getting dissed at the seat to where it's like she was confronting that border patrol? I think it was I forgot his name. That law enforcement officer. You know what I'm talking about?
Chauvin?
Yeah.
I didn't
If
really
you-
know who that was you were talking about. I just said a name because that's the most prominent police officer's name in like current history.
Well, he
I would say.
said that, and basically, and he just, what right do you have? Well, AOC said, what right do you have to separate the mother from, or the parents from the child at the border? Well, any right in same sense as any state that they have to where the parent is not actually the parent of the child. And she looked at him as though like, oh, okay, I can't get the clip up, but I'll oh my God, but she looks so dumb.
AOC, here's my take on her. I really think she needs to learn when to stop talking, and it's not because she's a woman.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with that. It's everything I've heard out of her has just been questionable. She was a 26-year-old broke waitress who got elected to Congress, and then like now she's worth millions of dollars. Like that's ridiculous, and that's ridiculous in its own sense. Second off, she's in a position of power. She doesn't know the world outside of that. You know, she knows a little bit. She got a little bit of like life, and then was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this," and a bunch of, hard R people,
Yeah.
long R, voted her into, the House, and then now she just kind of like her mouth is the wild, wild west. It just shoots off at the hip.
And so it's like one person that I kind of use as an example as to getting out of the echo chambers, Candace Owens. Do you know that she was a Democrat first before she heard like logically everything, all sides, and then it was that doesn't sound right, and then she questioned.
When you bring that up, I know she questioned Black Lives Matter a lot. Yeah. And I've seen a lot of like on the spot interviews with black people. Yeah. And none of them believed in Black Lives Matter. They might have at first, but then they realized it's not going to black communities. Yeah. They pulled in like $8 million one year, and then none of it went back to helping black communities. They're underserved, schools and the black communities who don't have access to good computers for, internet purposes, and, don't have the best school lunches and crap, but none of that money went to them. Yeah. And they see that, and
they're calling out on the bullshit too.
I think it was one of the biggest social cash grabs of our time. They use the death of actual people, regardless if they were innocent or guilty or whatever it was they did that got them in that position. They use the backs of those people who at that point are innocent. They're not asking for that crap. They don't want that kind of. I'm sure that if George Floyd was as good of a person as people like to have said he was, or was trying to get back on track, I don't think he would want to see the country go into what happened.
Yeah,
after that,
what happened to him was fucking terrible. But the thing is that
the loss of life is terrible. Okay, yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say that he didn't, make things difficult for himself just as much, you paid with a counterfeit bill. If you didn't know it was a counterfeit bill, that's one thing. I don't know how you prove that. Yeah. But if you have a history of it already.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you had paid with a counterfeit bill, go down to the substation, get fingerprinted, have your photo taken, and then get let go.
Yeah.
I think that if it had gone a little more smoothly on both ends, Mr. Floyd might still be with us today.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not negating what happened to him was bad.
Yeah.
It was absolutely bad. The loss of life in itself is just bad.
Yeah.
But if you don't make it easier on yourself, you're going to make it hard. That's all I have to say on the matter. It sucks that happened to Mr. Floyd. I'm sure he might have been trying to get his life back in order. Mm-hmm. The interaction between him and the Milwaukee Police Department was fucky. Okay?
Yeah.
If he had just been, calm, possibly not on fentanyl.
Yeah.
And just kind of complied, he'd have been let go eventually. Yeah, he might have had another charge on his record. It's not any worse than what already happened or what he's already been through. I know the man was in jail before. I've seen the information on him. He's been in jail before for, armed assault and shit like that. Okay. It can't be any worse than that. You've already got that. You're going to get a little charge for paying with a counterfeit bill. All right, cool. Yeah. You pay with a counterfeit bill. Take that charge. You've already got charges on you. Yeah, it might affect you, but you've already took that risk the first time. Just go with it and get out of jail.
What's funny is that it's crazy. I've done
overnights.
Times. I've seen several fucking people several times that were accidentally didn't stop at a stop sign, didn't do this full on stop. They were about to get pulled over until the person sped on off, and then the story that they had was that I didn't want to go to jail. Mm-hmm. And it says that you're not going to jail, you're only going to get a warning. I was going to let you go with a warning, but here I am instead handcuffing you because you fucking sped off.
So, you know what? I talk about personal accountability a lot. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit of the story when I lived in Largo. Mm-hmm. A buddy of mine was at a
ghetto.
party. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right off of Drew, where the apartments right on Drew, right across from the Best Buy that you went to. I used to live in those apartments right there, like directly across the street from those. Okay, my buddy's up the road at a party. It's in walking distance, but he took his car just because.
Yeah.
He calls me up and says, "Hey man, I really need to get out of here. I don't feel comfortable here anymore. But I'm pretty drunk. Can you come get me?" I don't have a license at this time, but this dude's my boy, right?
Yeah.
I don't want him getting pulled over and getting his license fucked up. I don't want him getting into an accident and killing himself, me, or anybody else. But I also don't want him stranded either, because this dude's helped me out a couple times. You know, if I can help him out a couple times, I'll help him out a couple times. Now, I took this upon myself, knowing that A, I don't have a license, and B, I'm about to drive illegally. Okay? I have to go 10 minutes up the road. My chances are pretty good. Okay? Traffic is kind of backed up at this point, though. I make the light, but somebody pulls out in front of me and blocks this lane. So now I'm stuck in the intersection. The light turns yellow. I'm still in the intersection. Okay? So a cop pulls me and the person who jumped in front of me over. Again, both of my hands are on the wheel. My ID, not my license, my ID is already in my fingers. Registration's in his name and on his phone. He's drunk and in the passenger seat. Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay? The cop talks to me. Do you know why I pulled you over? And I was like, well, I assume it's because I got stopped in the intersection. He goes, yes, I do know that you didn't stop on purpose. That wasn't your intent. That's why I pulled the other guy over in front of you. Do you have a driver's license? I said, I have my ID. It's right here. He goes, okay, do you have a driver's license? I said, no, I do not. But if you can give me 2 seconds, I can explain why I'm here. My roommate right here is drunk. This is his car. I didn't want him driving. I didn't want him hurting anybody. I didn't want him hurting me or himself. I have a little girl to go home to, or to see this weekend.
Yeah.
Officer said, all right, let me see your ID, blah, 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 blah. Talks to the people, comes back. He goes, look, because you were honest with me, I'm going to let you go, but I got to write you a ticket. Okay? I'm not going to write you a ticket for blocking the intersection, which is why I stopped you, but I am going to write you a citation for not having a license. And I took that one. Okay? My boy easily could have just fucking said, look, this is on me. I can't drive. You know, the dude could have gone to bat for me at court, but I didn't ask that of him because I took this upon myself to make sure my buddy got home safe. Okay? I went to court. COVID happened. Court dates got postponed. Okay? Come around to when in-person court is up. I've got my license because there was nothing stopping me from getting my license.
Yeah.
I wasn't charged with anything. Okay? I was able to get my license, get a vehicle, go into court and say, hey, Your Honor, this is what I've done with this time. Here's my license. Here's my registration, my proof of insurance, my proof of ownership. The judge right there dropped all my shit.
There you go.
Dropped all of my pending charges, which was driving without a license and failure to produce a license while operating a motor vehicle, which can be serious felonies if you get caught enough doing that. It really can. It could fuck up your shit. But because I took my time and did exactly the stuff that I needed to do, the judge was impressed by that. It wasn't anything to do with privilege or color or anything like that. Like, I'm a criminal at this point, you know? Like, I've got charges pending. I took a risk. I got in trouble. I deal with the consequences of that risk.
Yeah.
In the process of my judgment by the state or by the city, I redeemed myself.
Yeah.
It's fucking easy. I mean, if you rob a bank and kill people, that's your look.
Yeah.
That's on you. You're fucked. You're up shit's creek without a paddle.
Yeah.
Little minor infractions. Anybody driving without a license, just take the shit. Just get the shit taken care of.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier than getting killed for it. You're driving with a dark tent, but you don't want to get arrested or whatever because you got a warrant. Well, just take it, bro.
Yeah.
I got picked up on a bench warrant one time for a failure to appear for that specific thing I just told you about.
Yeah.
I had moved, didn't get the paperwork for the court date, had a bench warrant, never fucking knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
Got picked up because my headlights on my bike weren't fucking bright enough.
See, self accountability goes so far into people's lives that it goes past traffic stop. It goes into business and everything. Mm-hmm. But you know what? One company is self accountable for Americans and treats
everybody with dignity. Everybody with dignity, respect, and fair judgment until otherwise proven guilty. Fucking Article 1776, brother. You know it.
America. And guys, I want to say thank you so much for joining on with this podcast. You can find us our socials in the link description below. I am co-host Matthew Kicklighter. This is
Scottsdale87, and you fucking know it.
Freedom to fuck on, everyone, and have yourselves a wonderful day.
Be safe.
Be safe.